I just updated my fast-paced mobile game Roller Rush. In the last devlog we got over 100,000 views, which is pretty insane. And you also sent me a ton of suggestions, so I've added a lot since the last devlog. The first thing is biomes. Many of you thought the environments should have more variety, so I wanted to add more biomes. The obvious choice is of course a snow biome, so let's create that. The first thing to do is to add snow, so I just made the grass white, pretty easy. I did the same for the leaves, and there we go, snow. And for the palm tree. Wait, that doesn't make sense. We needed another tree for the snow biome. So instead of the palm tree, I created a pine tree. And now it already feels like winter. If we take a look at the rocks, they do technically fit in the snow biome, but to make it even more winter themed, I turned them into ice. Speaking of ice, the water needs to be frozen. So I replaced this water texture with an ice texture. And there we go, now we have ice. We just need to make it solid. And to make it more realistic, it should make a crack when you land on it. The only things left are the flower bounce pad and the bush. Flowers don't really belong in a winter environment, so I thought, what could a winter themed bounce pad look like? After a bit of thinking, I thought it could be a geyser. We just have to make it look like a bounce pad. I took a little inspiration from Fortnite and I made this small round geyser with steam coming out of it. The last thing we need is to change the blinding bushes. Now we could just make the leaves white like the trees, but what if we replace them with snowmen, and instead of leaves blinding you, you just get the snowman's face back into you. And there we have a snow biome, but it still needs a name, so I named it Frosty Fields. Before I make the next biome, I want to take a look at the Rolo characters. Some of you thought they looked scary because of those blank eyes staring into your soul. So to make them look more friendly, I just added a little sparkle to the eyes. But it actually makes a huge difference. Speaking of the Rolos, there are only 6 to choose from, which is not that many. So I began making some new ones. First I made a chicken, which just looks like Chicken Little without glasses and a body. After that I made a duck, and I don't know why, but it kinda looks more like a platypus if you ask me. Lastly, I made a frog with a little water lily on his head. So now we got 3 new Rolos, but then I thought, why not make different variants for each Rolo? If you take a look at Pippin for example, instead of blue it could be pink or black and so on. So I made a bunch of different variants for each Rolo that you can choose from. This means that Ratkin can now be blue, pink, orange and purple. Anyways, I made almost 20 variants, and if you have an idea for a new one, write it in the comments. Now let's go back to the biomes. We got a plains biome and a snow biome, so now let's make a desert biome. First I just made the grass orange, but then I realized that you can't mow sand, so I changed it up a bit to make it look more like sand. We can keep the palm trees this time because they belong in the desert, but the other tree doesn't though. So instead of the trees, I replaced them with cacti. I also replaced the bush with a small cactus, and I don't think you want to roll into that. That's pretty much it for the desert biome. So now we have 3 biomes. But then I wondered, should it be separate worlds that you can unlock, or should the environment change during the game? I thought it would be too repetitive if it's just the same environment the whole time. So I decided to make it change during the game. So that's what I added since the last video. I actually forgot to mention the most requested thing, which is when are you going to add it to iOS? And I can finally say it's out now on the App Store as well. Anyways, that's it for this video. See you next time.